Good morning, class. Today is Tuesday, April 21st, 2020. We're going to be on pages 279 and 280 today. Okay, let's read the rule for rounding off decimals. To round off a decimal, if the last digit of the decimal is less than 5, you're going to drop that number. If the last digit is 5 or more, you're going to drop it and then add 1 to the digit preceding it or before it. Okay, so let's look at an example, 6.38. The 8 is more than 5, so we're going to drop it and add 1 to 3. So when we're rounding, this would be rounded to 6.4 or 6 4/10. Okay, look at 0.356. Look at the last number. If it's more than 5, we're going to drop it and add 1 to the next number. So then our answer, or rounded, would be 3.5 plus 1 is 6.36. 6 32/100. This time, if the last digit is less than 5, we're just going to drop it, and it will be rounded to 6.3. 0.498. Look at the last digit. It's more than 5, so we're going to drop it and add 1 here. Well, when you have 49 plus 1, that's going to be 0.50. Okay, so let's do some class practice. One A, you have 0.47. Round off to the nearest tenth. Remember, our place value is tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So we're rounding off to the nearest tenth. You're going to look at your last number. 7 is more than 5, so we're still going to cross this out, but this time we're going to add 1 here. So our answer would be 1.5. Let's look at B. 1.62 or 1 62/100. We're rounding to the nearest tenth. Look at the last digit. It's less than 5, so we're just going to cross it out. And our answer is 1 6/10 because we're rounding to the nearest tenth. C, you have 88/100 or 0.88. We're rounding it to the nearest tenth. Look at your last digit. Is 8 more than 5? Yes. Cross it out, add 1 here. So our answer would be 9/10. D, you have 29/100. We're rounding it to the nearest tenth. 9 is greater than 5, so we mark it off and add 1 here. 2 plus 1 is 3, so our answer is 3/10. I'll give you a minute to write these down. Let's look at 1E. 7 45/100. We're still rounding to the nearest tenth. Look at your last number, 5 or more. You mark it off and add 1 here. So our answer would be 7 5/10. F. 6 23/100, rounded to the nearest tenth. Look at your last digit. 3 is less than 5, so we're just going to mark it out. And our answer is 6 2/10. Number number 2 is asking us to round off to the nearest hundredth. So 2A, we have 0.829 or 129 thousandths. I'm going to look at the last number. 9 is greater than 5, so we mark it out and add 1 here. So our answer is 83 hundredths, or 0.83. Okay, 463 thousandths rounded to the nearest hundredths. Last number. 3 is less than 5, so you're just going to mark it out and keep the 6 the same. 46 hundredths. All right, C, you have 1 and 205 thousandths. Rounded to the nearest hundredth. Look at your 5. 5 or more, you mark it off and add 1 to the number before it. So your answer is 1 and 21 hundredths. Okay, D, 1 and 316 thousandths rounded to the nearest hundredth. Look at your last number. If it's 5 or more, you cross it out and add 1 to the one before it. So our answer is 1 and 32 hundredths. For E, you have 2.493 or 2 and 493 thousandths. You're still rounding to the nearest hundredth. Look at your last digit. Below 5, you just cross it out. So your answer is 2 and 49 hundredths, or 2.49. And F. We have 2.499 or 2 and 499 thousandths. Rounded to the nearest hundredth. Look at your last number. 9 is greater than 5, so you mark it out and add 1 here. 49 plus 1 is, 49 plus 1 is 50. So your answer is 2 and 50 hundredths, or 2.50. Or you can say 2.5. All right, number 3, I want you to do C. You have 64 divided into 16. Okay, when you're looking at this, you know that 64 cannot go into 16. So what you have to do is add that decimal and a 0. Bring your decimal up, still divide it the same way. Now how many times can 64 go into 160? 2 times. 64 times 2, 8, 12, 128. Subtract. 10 minus 8 is 2. 5 minus 2 is 3. You're going to add another 0. Bring it down. Now how many times can 64 go into 320? Good, 5. You're left with a 0. So your answer is 0.25. Okay, on the review, let's look at number 4. You can work all of those. Number 5 and 6, you know how to do those. Number 7, write the formulas up here for you. So number 7A, you're going to be finding the perimeter and the area of these shapes. So for a square, the perimeter is 4 times S. The area is side times side. 7B, you're finding the perimeter and area of a rectangle. So the perimeter is 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. And the area is length times width. Okay, and 7C, the perimeter of a rectangle, again, is 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. And the area is length times width. So these are the formulas that you will use for A, B, and C. Number 8, we're going to do D and E together. So let's look at 8D. 87 hours is how many times as long as 3 hours? Go ahead and work that one out. Remember that you are dividing 3 into 87. 3 can go into 8 how many times? 2. 2 times 3 is 6. 8 minus 6 is 2. Bring down your 7. 27 divided by 3 is 9. So your answer would be 29. 87 hours is 29 times as long as 3 hours. And E, 144 inches is how many times as far as 48? So you will divide 48 into 144. All right, good. 48 times 3 is 144. So 144 inches is 3 times as far as 48 inches. On number 9A, 6 is what part of 18? 6/18. Okay, then you reduce that. Good, so reduce to 1/3. So 6 is what part of 18? 1/3. Okay, let's look at 9B. 39 is what part of 78? This can be reduced to 1/2. 39 is what part of 78? It's half of 78. 1/2. Let's look down at E. 15 is what part of 120? 15 is what part of 120? We should have used it to 1/8. 15 is what part of 120? It's 1/8. All right, and then on number 10, you're going to do or solve A, B, and C. Okay, so your review for number 4, do all of those, all of number 5, all of number 6, all of number 7, and all of number 10. That's all for today, and we'll see you back tomorrow.